Opus Dei Academy of Food is the given insight affording the fortune of wisdom, a wholehearted effort to share in its trove, true, on point, and alleviating all displeasure, providing simple, easy ways to experience upticks in the quality of life. It's an academy about the gift of food and the greater gifts given through food's consumption. Gifts that are solely based upon delectable and nutritional enjoyment that through our palatability one may secure not only achieving level best, but serve it up to others. What I do know is food and serving others. I work full-time handling food and embrace the responsibility and demands created by the thorough and thoughtful effort it takes, but do enjoy more the interactions between those served and those returning and receive a repetitious relationship. With this being said, what I don't know is in front of me. Uncharted and unfamiliar as I am to the production, editing, and all the intricate nuances, I am putting this forward for insight, constructive feedback. Once that being secured, then the educational classroom presentations and cooking demonstrations will be presented, and from there they will be added to and upon. 35 years in the making, what is understood and known is available to each participant. Old school education, one room, one class, one goal. Wani to walk. In every given moment, what is and what is not do exist together at any time. It is where the macro and micro meld, the demonstration of display in the physical matter, the seen and the unseen. The environments we exist in shall be absolute, possible, and probable. That is for certain. Commanding the absolute is the grace of existence. Respectfully being thankful for the grace is the ability of each of us. Our outer terrain and inner terrain are separated solely by our largest organ, our skin. The numerous portals that allow for our functioning to be. They allow senses and functionality to occur, yet the safeguards needed to protect the adversarial infectious activities from occurring are equally demanded of each of us. The human body has 100,000 ohms, and for whatever reason, redheads have 140,000. If time is the potential to live, and our wellness based upon the potential of hydrogen, then we must give account of the inherent potential of resistance found by the presence of ohms, maintaining our individual being as well as the collective of those around us. Cooking ugly. Respecting the gifts of our being after taking note of the constant love granted to us, such as how we are not delegated to solely graze like cattle, nor limited in the ability to prepare a feast any given day. The ability granted to us in cooking said feast is inherent to us. Let me say that again. The ability granted to us in cooking said feast is inherent to us. Fundamentally, the vast array of ample delight and nutritional wellness may be empowered exponentially to have responses to individual needs and our desire of vitality. We are blessed to achieve our best, day in, day out. From meal to meal, the blessing of this activity invites that blessing to be seized by self as well as being shared with others. Fiber optics, car batteries, and even the layouts of roadways each mimic activities and systems found inside the human being. Far greater is the fact that we are now witnessing how our replication is formed in the same image of our own existence in the universe. That's a lot of love and motion. This is the love that allows us to be. Have you ever had to wind up your lungs? How about changing a AAA battery in the old ticker? How about replacing a microchip in your brain? Just imagine if we all had to put forth effort to breathe constantly. Let's just be thankful that that's not the case. Yet even more important, let us just see that not only are we cared for, but amazingly, this is the mint full of care that just keeps on producing all we can take and muster. That's for sure. Hydrogen. Color, aroma, and flavor, each and collectively, give proof of hydrogen and its presence. It's where the accumulative wow factor is found and delivered. Wow factors based upon hydrogen are good or not so good, each having levels from best and fading towards not your best. Hydrogen is there for the utilization. The uses of hydrogen are indiscriminately there with that offering, for if not, time would be vacated by disorder, dysfunction, and displeasure of ease. Hydrogen delivers in what is known as dis-ease, our potential set upon the care achieved. Caring more or less brings results regardless of opinion. Fresh, dull, sour, rancid are the discerning capabilities that are learned and applied to what we consume to attain the level best of our potential. Hydrogen is the fulfillment of gained potential without cause and effect hindering. Much like time always being in the now, or equivalent to how temperature is the true sign of existence in time. We never escape the now. We never get to the tomorrows. Yesterday is always, in all ways, shall remain in the past, yet each exists to allow us to be. Allowing ourselves to achieve the good voids the intensity of dis-easement. Seizing the better allows for the vacation of the dis-easement, empowering wellness to be fuller, with our fulfillment of wellness granting our level best. Food, get about it. Food, get about it. Explore the career of the personification of a virtuoso, a true monger of food. It is the dream, it is the drive, and it remains an affliction. But what is it? But what is it? What is it? It is the ability and response towards the demands of sustaining and granting upticks in the lives of all those peoples served. Pleasantries and nutritional rewards found meal to meal, service to service, day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year, decade to decade, one century unto the next. To get about food is the single greatest undertaking we share in commonwealth. Finding the unseen truths of home cooking may even evolve into the successful means of owning a food establishment. The trove found will encompass tools, cleanliness, and procedures, the gift of foundational understanding to build upon as we begin a cooking and baking relationship with simple instruction, reducing the complex into the easy. The goal, the purpose here is simple, to provide an example of what may be each of us becoming the better me. Gain better through your better. Based upon these 4 attributes. Effort. Effort is the applied commitment to the caring for self and or of others. Integrity. It is what you learn to empower self and utilize the standards that control your potential in the presence of one or the presence of many. Stewardship. The illustration of a person's character through physical evidence of an effort left maintaining, improving, or that which is counterintuitive. Honor. The reward of the collective effort where integrity and stewardship has become personified. Our reward? The removal of 3 letters from our vocabulary. D-I-S. A path where the greater order, function, and pleasure are ours to be had for your better and best being. Society has allowed these 4 terms to fall by the wayside. This has occurred for the simple fact it leaves blame to be placed on others. All along, what it has delivered is simply shame. The ability to respond. Taking back responsibility begins with ability and ends in response. There must be no quarter given for failure to take responsibility by the horns. Age has no component honest responsibility at all. What governs or materializes an able body is maturity. As we mature, so does ability and capability. Be mindful of these terms. Embrace the less desirable aspect of life and get to the reward that it is offered. Be thoughtful of what you are doing and how you do it. Be careful, and the impact we empower may itself impact multiple levels of both wellness and goodness alike. Ultimately, having something shown to you allows for much more in response to the transfer of knowledge and a deeper understanding, and delivers an appreciation of wisdom, voiding folly from the get-go. The goal? Moving forward in time and space, our goal, even simpler, to empower any and everyone to unleash the release, the individual artful expression one has, to allow creativity to be explored and understood through the knowledge given man throughout our time. Our plan? To establish a tree to sit in where learning and exploring every imaginable expression of the art of cooking as to sustain life as we know it. Rooted in cross notes and interesting references, to be filled with testimony presenting unlimited canvas, many tools, and an endless application of consumption of what shall or has been prepared from efforts past, to be sharers for insight of what is or has been and will be found as one goes about getting about food. The way. Learning to care. If you come, take a look, you shall see. Micro, macro, tiny, small, and the itty-bitty things that we see and those we do not. What we need everyone to understand and know, Wanituwak, enables each of us to reach our level best on a personal note. Wanituwak is the wisdom found in life. As to the familiarity, awareness with regard to time and temperature, with the factors of oxygen and moisture pertaining to all things food. What for you is to be found? That sharing is caring, and each of us deserves, rightfully so, to participate in cooking ugly, caretaking of our kitchens, intending nutritional goodness, and the proof is undoubtedly God loves you. It's all about love. It's all about love expressed. It's all about care. Please note, I love the New York Rangers, but if they never won another game, I would not care. Everyone, good, bad, or indifferent, was loved to a degree, but may or may not have been well cared for. We have been gifted much, the given grace. Care is the effort, and hydrogen is the fuel. Matter, sight, smell, taste, existence, all allowed through grace. Grace is the allowance to be in the presence of the allower. What is allowed is known as potential. Time, temperature, and ohms each exist, but you could not buy a bucket full of any or either of the three. Yet each exist with consistency and expression. Without expression of, the existence ceases. Human sense can only be, through the care, the full expression of intent and purpose based upon, in and around, the utilization of hydrogen as the gift of gifts. Hydrogen beholds all truth. Hydrogen is how you deserve righteousness. Our God empowers nutrition to enjoy our allowance. What is collectively understood, we shall see, smell, taste, hear, and feel our way to the wisdom gained by knowledge and attain its needed understanding as to just how much and often thank you can be expressed for such allowance. Opus Dei is the working of God in the tree of life, the tree of good and better, where it is as God as it gets, and thank God for it. Opus Dei is not about what is known, but rather about what is learned. It shall be about what more is learned as an individual, and someday about what we all have learned. Opus Dei Academy of Food has 4 bases. You can freely run between them without being hindered. But to attain and achieve the next grade in learning, it is best to have all 4 to score a degree. Each base has a room to explore, utilize, and offers wisdom to seize. Each degree is a collection of a set of bases set upon its level of that degree that in and of itself may be seen as part of a personal thermometer that with all the degrees each individual, group, or family may gather and harvest from the tree of good and better. As we begin, let us be mindful of the fact that cosmetically challenged in appearance to let us judge by the content found in each degree and their collective insight. The moment-by-moment accounts, the viewing style, the simplistic means of it all forces the vacation of the I didn't know and the I had no idea from our vocabulary. From this day forward, let us witness the effort, beseech that we are successful, and really find the truest joy in cooking, becoming more thank-filled individuals. What we do is food do, and food do a lot. Let us see just what do food do. For who knew just what food do, because a lot of food do a lot. For they that follow the diamond in the rough. Being pro bono is when being, doing, and involving professional and with especially the legal work given for our wellness as seen through the laws and battles of nature regarding all things food, and how the laws of nature dictate the governance of our wellness denied or fulfilled. God has the case for wellness. It just needs to be presented. Being proverbs is when one embraces wisdom and opts to leave folly. May take years, may take months, it may even take multi-generation, but let's get to the taking. When we ought, we ought. The ought not comes from in the last statement, not being brought into choice. As we proceed, take consideration to just how much of what we learn from one demonstration, one presentation, and or one conversation. All are pieces to attaining wisdom's beautiful bounty of pleasantries. Being proceed. That is to say, surrender. Give complete effort and your reward shall be a better you. Single, married, or responsible for more than the me. We have responsibility. We have ability. We all have that path to find our way. When you use these laws and routinely void all that is systemic, it is only there and then that systematic success follows your routine. Being produce. What and how we deal with what we consume needs. Now, let me try that again. Being produce. What and how we deal with what we consume. Hold on. Being produce. What and how we deal with what we consume needs to be procured, prepared, produced, and protected properly. Every aspect of proper with handling food is forced to a point in time and temperature. Knowing the fundamental principles of two facts, the apex of 40 degrees, and just how long the food's purposed life has had to transition, and hear this, just how long the purposed life has had to transition into its nutritional life in an environment that is foreign to what we use in the production of what we find in nutritional reward and bounty from and in what we consume. Understanding the how it got there and the condition of its arrival all have bearing on the potency of the hydrogen contained or lost. Proactive parent. The proactive parent, what you put into something bears the fruit from that effort and from what was afforded with and by such an effort. Control of such is the free will we have been granted. Let us be willing. Generation to generation, the impact society has from the family setting has largely been about care and those able to express such. History is formed by factual and actual occurrences. As individuals, we experience both. From our past, we proceed into time. What we gain in knowledge and understanding brings wisdom. Expressing that gain empowers those who follow themselves to gain its benefit. We as parents have the inherent responsibility to care for the gifts we have been given. We as parents have the inherent responsibility to care for the gifts we have been entrusted with. What is the hope of a caring parent has been the same from day one for all humanity. The yearning for our children to have it better than we. It is that simple. Where failure has set in is what is considered better. With all nonsense being set aside, let us get to the better. This program being set here is the accumulation of observance that shall lend credence to the fruit available to those empowering care. If something brings a lasting reward in a greater avenue of thoughtful discussion, then let's have it. If something brings pleasantry to the body, mind, and soul, then embrace it. If multiple effects bear a greater effect, then apply it. You have been tasked with seeing this child mature. Failure to see this through only empowers an incomplete child masking as an adult. Period. The past is just the past. We elect to bring or vacate negating venues that have an effect upon those or these who had nothing to do with that construction. Period. Working parents have an absence in time throughout their day. Many pressures, many commitments, many. Here we have the opportunity to seize time and gain the desired benefits. What is to be found and had through our program is not about age, but about learning. It's about learning much, and it is all about learning more and more and more and more. Our fifth base. When you as an individual task through a degree, you shall find an activity or part in a meal and or the construction of said meal that a child may participate to gain knowledge and understanding that shall bolster confidence in ability and further develop character, allowing the child to have proof of learning. Something stored in mind may be left as a simple regurgitation of fact, wherein something in use allows that fact to be actual. Knowing a knife is used to cut an apple is fact. Knowing how to cut an apple leaves ample opportunity to present it factually and will allow for snacks, salads, and desserts to be applied to the child's everyday. Parallel lines never intersect is a foundational safety statement that begins our second level of shared wisdom. There ain't no harm in wisdom, but respecting that wisdom is foundationally fundamental. We start with no knives adventures, salads, desserts, appetizers, and such, going in deep about the colors and how nutrition plays role in our wellness. Having a pleasant reward from such an effort hits on many levels. Multifold is what they say. I say multi-unfold. Setting a path for a child, whether it be potty training, bike riding, or caretaking in our kitchen, there are common denominators to be found. Parallel lines never intersect as one. Hitting the commode, staying on the path, staying between the lines while driving, each may be seen in the artful use of cutting with a knife. So in beginning, we venture forth with no knife. See how the incorporation of the child into the daily chores of life better serve the effort to achieve what we all desire for our kindred. Let us not impede the maturation of our dependents. Their dependency is the same of those who have traveled on before you and I. What and how we transfer our wisdom must be fruitful, and hence the apple, if it is to symbolize the fruit of the ought and ought not, then let us surely give the explanation and the illustration of exactly the ought and the ought not stands to be. Granting such is the pruning of the tree that bears fruit that we foster to provide the needed upticks in our lives, their lives, and the lives of those we exist with. Allowing ourselves, as well as those who we are tasked to care for, the empowerment of truth, we attract the good and better of that tree of ought and ought not. much like the removal of the graft in the fruit tree. We are in flesh, but without flesh we have no time. So as we travel through the unstoppable, may we prune and prune to allow what ought to be our fruit and trim what ought not. This is very personal. It is granted this way for the purpose of the common reward and relationship with our Creator. The true reward shall be in what you notice, what you see, what you hear, and especially what is felt. Especially embodies the fact that each of us is special. More importantly, we are special. We are His creation. I know of no other participant in His creation that can be thankful in so many ways than each of us. The fact that a deer escapes a wolves and his clutches does not make that deer thankful, but just relieved. We can be thankful. We could be more thankful. So let us get full of thanks.